So today we're going to start solving equations, and this is part 1, and we're going to be working on this for weeks, okay? We're going to start slow, and then we're going to slowly build up. This is one of the most important things you need to know for algebra, as well as for geometry. So this is really where we get into the stuff that you're really going to have to understand, all right? So throughout this note video, if you have questions, I need you raising your hand and asking them. If you don't understand what I'm saying, I need you to raise your hand and have me come over and clarify, okay? Very, very, very important. Make sure you have a calculator. You're going to need it, okay? I need you doing every single example. They all have a purpose, and I need you to see it, okay? So this first thing we're going to do, don't write. I'm just going to show you something, okay? I need you to think back to elementary school when you would see a problem like this. They would give you like a box and say something plus 2 equals 4, and you had to figure out what that number was. And so you had to think about it, and you would think, well, like 1 plus 2 isn't 4, but 2 plus 2 is 4, right? And you would fill it in. Or it'd be a box minus 1 equals 5. And you had to figure out what minus 1 equals 5. And you would think, oh, that's 6. 6 minus 1 equals 5. This is something you used to do in elementary school, okay? You're going to see this in algebra, just harder, but instead of a box or a line, we put an x. We'll put x plus 2 equals 4, and you have to figure out what x equals. Or we'll put x minus 1 equals 5, and you need to figure out what x equals. We could also use like C's or A's or different letters, but a letter just means we don't know, just like a box used to mean to you in elementary school, okay? So the whole point of this going forward is you are trying to figure out what the letter would equal to make it true, okay? So you're trying to find out what the value is, all right? Now, there's really fancy ways I could explain this to you, but the way I teach it's weird, and it's kind of corny, but it's going to help you understand, okay? So I need you to write down these steps. Step 1 is always, 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 and this will not make sense to you right now, but it will in a little bit, draw a line down the equal sign. Draw a line down the equal sign. I will explain that in a little bit. Okay, so you draw a line down the equal sign. Step 2 also will make no sense to you, but it will in a little bit. Step 2 is you're going to ask yourself, who is your best friend? Which right now obviously makes no sense to you, but it will in a little bit. Who's your best friend? You're going to ask yourself that. And the next thing you're going to do is, who are you kicking out? Who are you kicking out? Yet again, makes absolutely no sense right now, but it will in a little bit, okay? And one thing I need you to realize, and you need to write this down word for word, the only way to get rid of something, so the only way to get rid of something is by doing the opposite. Doing the opposite. Okay? The only way to get rid of something is by doing the opposite. So yet again, makes no sense right now. It should in a little bit. I'm going to go ahead and put these up here. I'll refer back to this in a little bit. Okay? So here we have a problem. Okay? And 2 times x plus 4 equals 26. I need to figure out what x is in order to make this true. Now, some of you could do this in your head by plugging in numbers, but I need you to learn the process because when I throw in negatives or fractions or decimals, you understand how to do it. Okay? So here's our problem. The first thing you always do is draw a line down the equal sign. So we're going to draw a line all the way down. Okay? So here's how I want you to think of this. And I know it's weird, but this is how you're going to think of this. You are the letter. You're X. So you are X, okay? And these are your friends that are hanging out at your house, okay? You're X. If your mom or dad or grandma or whatever came home and said, there's too many people here, I need you to kick some people out. Are you going to kick out your best friend, the guy that you're hanging out with, or are you going to kick out the other guy that you kind of know? And your answer is, you're going to kick out the guy that you kind of know. Your best friend's going to stay there longer, right? So you're X. This 2 is your best friend. Okay, so 2 is going to stay for a little while. We're going to kick out the 4. Now, the only way to kick out someone, if someone came into your house, the only way to get rid of them is making them go out of your house, the opposite, right? So here where it said the only way to get rid of something is by doing the opposite, what is the opposite of adding 4? Well, the opposite of adding 4 is subtracting 4, okay? But if you do it to this side, you have to do it to this side. That's why this line is here. It needs to look like a mirror, okay? So, your x, this is your best friend. I'm kicking this guy out. The opposite of adding 4 is subtracting 4 on both sides, okay? Now, this we're going to cross off. And the reason, because 4 minus 4, they just go away. It's 0. So we cross off this whole thing. Okay? I'm going to rewrite this down here. 2x equals. And then what is 26 minus 4? You should figure that out in your head, but if not, 26 minus 4, turn the calculator on would be helpful, is 22. 22. Okay? So I basically got rid of the 4, and now we're here. Now your mom says, seriously, get your best friend out of here. So you need to get rid of your best friend, which is 2. So we need to do the opposite. But I need you to remember, side by side means multiplied. So the opposite of multiplying by 2 is dividing by 2. A big mistake kids do here is they try to divide by like a -2. Don't do that. The opposite of multiplying is dividing. Okay? This goes away. The x comes down. 22 divided by 2. You should know this, but if not, 22 divided by 2 is 11. So 11 is my answer, and I box it up. This is going to be very weird for a while until we get good at it. Okay? Now to double check your answer, we need to make sure it's right. So 2 times 11 plus 4. Let's try that. 2 times 11 plus 4 equals 26, and we got 26 over here. So we're good, okay? You're going to be doing this process, and it's going to be really weird at first, and it's going to start to feel better in a little bit, okay? Let's do another example. Write it down. 27 equals 5a minus 3. First thing we always do is draw the line, okay? So who are you? You're the letter. That means you're A, okay? Who's your best friend? Well, the guy hanging out with A is 5. So 5's going to stay, and we're going to kick out this other guy. The only way we get rid of something is by doing the opposite. So the opposite of subtracting 3 is adding 3, right? But if we do it on this side of the line, we have to do it on this side of the line. Okay? We good? So these cross off because they're opposites. The 5a just comes down. The equals just comes down. And 27 plus 3, you can use your calculator, but 27 plus 3 is just 30. Alright? So we just got rid of the 3 by doing the opposite. Now, mom says best friend has to go. Side by side means multiplied. What is the opposite of multiplying? Is dividing. Okay? This goes away. The a comes down. 30 divided by 5, you might know that, but if not, 30 divided by 5 is just a positive 6. So a equals 6. Okay? You can box it like this, or some people will write it a equals 6 like that. Either one doesn't matter. Okay? Just to check, 5 times 6, so 5 times 6, and then minus 3 does equal 27. 27. Okay? So yet again, it's going to be weird in the beginning, but we're going to make it a little easier later. Okay? Let's do another one. Draw your line down. Pause and write this, by the way, and then draw your line. Who are you? You're N. And your best friend is not 2, it's -2. So -2 is your best friend. I need to kick out this guy. Now this is where kids get a little confused because there's no symbol here. But what is the opposite of a positive 4? Well, the opposite of a positive 4 is a -4. Correct? And if I do it over here, I got to do it over here. Alright? This goes away. And when you rewrite this, a big problem kids have is they'll just write 2n, but that is -2n. So write -2n. The equal sign comes down. Now, -6, so in the calculator we'll do -6. And remember, I know we said -4 here, but now that we're going to put it in the middle, we're going to put -4. And that is -10. So -10. Okay? Then mom says, seriously, your best friend has to leave. So the opposite of multiplying by a -2 is dividing by a -2. Okay? This goes away. Your n comes down. -10 divided by -2. So -10 divided by -2 is a +5. And then you can box it up. All right, let's double check. 4 minus 2 times 5. 4 minus 2, and then we got our answer as 5, right? Is -6, and our answer is -6. So I know it's correct. Okay, so this whole process we're going to get used to. We have one last example, then we're done, and it's going to look a little different. Now we have division, so I'll show you how that works. We draw a line down our equal sign. Who are you? You're X. Your best friend, you're hanging out with this guy, right? Y'all are close. So we're going to kick out the other guy. The only way to get rid of something is by doing the opposite. So the opposite of adding 1 is subtracting 1 on both sides. Okay? These go away. I'm just going to rewrite this. X divided by 3 equals. And then 5 minus 1 is just 4. Okay? Now here's a little different, so just listen. You need to get rid of this guy. The opposite of dividing by 3 is multiplying by 3. Because opposite of dividing is multiplying, right? So we're going to multiply every side by 3. These go away because they're opposites. The x comes down. 4 times 3 is just 12. Okay, double check. 12 divided by 3 plus 1. 12 divided by 3 plus 1 is 5. And we also got 5. So this process is going to be very weird. All right, you're going to be uncomfortable. You're going to make mistakes. I'm going to have to correct you, and that's okay. But we're going to be working on this for a while. It's something that you have to have down. Okay? Please ask questions and go ahead and go on to your assignment.